Yes, people, welcome back to Let's Talk Premier League. It's the match reaction. It's finished United 2, Brighton 1. Before we get into all of that, please make sure you've liked the video and you're subscribed with notifications on. Sorry, we're a bit late. Basically had to run to a shop, but we're all good now. Also, just want to start a bit of advice. You can work on 2 channels without beef. Just wanted to give that real good life lesson to anyone in the chat that may need to hear this. DC, we are sorry we're late. We are very sorry. I blame RJ. Saul's also outraged by this lateness.
If we really want to talk about it, say sorry. Look, this guy was being like fucking. He was puffing like he's like.
Hey! I had to run to the shop. I had to run to the shop. It was a very difficult job.
To the shop.
Big up to Daniel. Having some issues.
Oh yeah, 5. It is.
Yeah. But it's nice to see them talking. We will also have a little thing that we're sort of previewing. It's a little teaser, a little taster for a new show that is coming very soon. So do make sure you stay tuned. Go check out our socials. Go check out Let's Talk EPL on Twitter. Saul saying Niall ran to the barbers, it seems. Now, I did this at halftime. But we'll start with you, RJ. Yeah, before you put in a snide little comment there. Yeah, Irish bum is what I believe Don would say. But RJ, we'll start with you. First half, I mean, there's a lot of words I can describe your first half with. Bruno apparently has swapped shoes with Fred because neither of them could make a pass today, which very interesting for a player better than De Bruyne. But what did you make of that first half, and then obviously in the second half, a lot of character as United normally do. Of a second half where they score 2 goals, Rashford getting the first goal after Bruno diving to try and win a penalty. I'm joking, he was clattered into. That laid it onto Rashford, and then Mason Greenwood, a boy that deserves it. To be fair, he's worked so hard. He's been so unlucky in a lot of games. Arguably should have got a goal against West Ham if it weren't for a world-class save by Fabianski. So how
hit the post today as well, didn't he?
And he hit the post, and then he also nearly had that chance that just went over the bar. Like, Mason is starting to sort of come into his own a bit. But RJ, what were your thoughts on that game, really?
Yeah, I think first half we were probably going to lose that match if we kept the same performance in the first half. I mean, it was absolutely dreadful. The pass was absolutely horrendous. Jesus, yeah, like you said, Fred and Bruno must have switched positions or some shit like that, where they just, Bruno couldn't even pass in the first half. But clearly something happened that second half, and yeah, to quote Brendan Rodgers, there was a lot of character in that game in the second half.
How dare you use a reference from our hit TV show in 2013?
Look, it's simple as this, right? First goal, I don't know how that defender didn't get sent off or even a yellow card, especially. I mean, fucking took out Bruno.
Jeopardy rule, mate.
But regardless,
Jeopardy rule. So it was a red card challenge, but because you've scored, you can't give a red card.
Okay, but a yellow card regardless, so that's why you should have gone. But look, good finish by Rashford. Good to get him some goals as well. A player who needed a bit of goals as well. For the Greenwood one, I think that was a bit of a mess of a goal, if I'm really honest. I mean, Bruno chips it over the entire defense. Pogba goes let me just try and shoot it into the box or some shit like that. And Greenwood started to magically put it in. Yeah, but I think I wouldn't mind if Donny got a goal.
That's what the best strikers do. The best strikers, they Greenwood is.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant
right. The best strikers, they feed off scraps. That you look at Haaland, most of his goals won't be clear-cut chances. A lot of them will be scrappy goals that a striker just has that instinct of doing. I mean, Cavani back in the day was known for them. But is it weird that the minute Cavani went off, Greenwood just throws himself into that number 9 role again? Do you think that this season as difficult as it may have been for Greenwood, do you think this has really been the showing of him? And do you think that next season he might be able to kick on and save you about £120 million on a new striker when you've got Mason Greenwood right there?
I believe. I think we still need a striker. I do think obviously Martial is currently injured. He's probably injured for the rest of the season. That's potential.
That's good news for you, isn't it?
I do. No, I mean it means our depth is just as. It means our depth is just as bad as Liverpool's. But
how many strikers do you want in one team?
No, the thing is with Martial, I think. The thing is, I don't know what his best position is. I mean, this season,
his best position is definitely his best position is definitely left wing. Wherever anyone who understands football, but anyone who understands football in a sophisticated manner will be able to tell you that the Martial's best position is left wing. He's not a striker. When it comes to back to goal, he is absolutely horrific at it.
Yeah. Oh no, that's the same with Rashford. Rashford is obviously a left winger. He's inside forward, simple as that, right? Look, I do think this is kind of like a transition period for Greenwood. Obviously, when he came in, he was obviously made for a right winger. We had Martial as a striker. That really didn't work out, but somehow Ole found a way because Ole is Ole, and he's at the wheel. Nah, I'm allowed to say that. He's second with Harry Maguire. I mean, look, as well as that, talking about Harry Maguire, I mean, we nearly had a fight on our hands. Lewis Dunk and Harry Maguire about to slap it off. To be fair, Harry Maguire was going to beat him anyway, lads, because you know what? It was going to be a headbutt finish, KO. Simple as that, lads.
I was going to carry on talking about that striker position, but you want to start talking about points.
No, I'm just talking about the entire. I'm talking about the entire game. Do you mean? Henderson, I mean, he was very unlucky. I will not criticize him because that, to be fair, it was beautiful by Welbeck. To be fair, I will give Welbeck.
It was a good first save from Henderson.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I know. At the same time, like I said, I will give credit to Welbeck. He's a former Man United player. He's a United player through and through.
You sounded disappointed that Dean Henderson made a good save there.
I'm just missing our beautiful Spaniard in our goals. To be fair, I am missing him.
I
think he will. They'll probably start against Granada, and then we'll see how it goes from there.
DC, I just want to confirm. I do love the Irish.
Yeah. No,
but RJ.
Send hate. Come on.
RJ is the. I like all Irish people apart from RJ. RJ is rude. I'm joking. I quite like RJ. RJ's not too bad. Sources saying which rat disliked. I have an idea.
I can bet you I know who.
I have an idea of which rat disliked it, but I'm presuming that they're busy on a different channel.
We just got to feed them some oiled cheese.
Oiled cheese? What the fuck, RJ?
Moving
on from RJ, Matt. Mason Greenwood, he's saved Ollie's bacon today. Are we starting to see the Mason that we knew of old back, or is it still too early?
It's not too early. I think he'll move the striker next season when Cavani goes to Boca Juniors. He'll be our number 9. I don't think we're going to sign one. I think it'll be him and then Martial's backup. And then maybe Charlie McNeil might get fed through. Is it Charlie McNeil? Yeah. Is that his name? Yeah, he might get fed through next season as well. Get some development into him, and he can run Martial on the bench. But yeah, I thought it was a really good centre forward goal from Greenwood today. I think it's his first header for us, and he said in an interview that he really wanted to score a header. So hopefully that gets some stuff off his back.
And plus, if Greenwood, I'm going to shut up. I was going to say Donny would have scored that goal like if Donny would have scored that. So
I'm happy.
Was Donny offside?
He wasn't offside.
Which is why you have to leave it. I thought he was behind.
He was behind.
But it's cute that Donny. It's cute that Donny would have got that goal, but I feel like Mason needed it more.
Yeah,
I guess.
I think for
a good performance by Donny. I think Donny had a good impact when he came on.
I think for United, having Mason score that goal is precisely what you need. As all strikers, they live off confidence. It's a natural thing.
Especially
and when you're not
goal like that, because
exactly. Exactly, and getting that goal, it just boosts his confidence. It makes him feel that he can be involved in it a bit more. So I firmly believe that that was exactly what Mason needed. Kenny, we'll go to you, mate. That first half wasn't great, but United again in the second half they turn it on and they do their bit. What were your thoughts on that second half performance from United?
Well, it was very good. Well, not very good, but it was way better than the first half. And I think it was more like Brighton. The energy level started to drop. They created, I don't think they had any shots in the second half. It was mainly all us, but I think it's because Brighton. I think it's Brighton versus Man United showing like energy levels and that. Well, yeah, I think I'm happy for Greenwood because Greenwood needs that confidence, and he's been very good the past few games. But he's just not scored. Like he's hit the post numerous times against the likes of West Ham, for example. But I'm very happy for him. And the first goal, Rashford, he loves Brighton, doesn't he, this season?
Yeah, I mean, Rashford's composure for the first goal is something that Rashford has learnt within time. I mean, I remember when Rashford first broke onto the scene and the amount of times he would just hit it with his laces and smash it into the net, which of course he still does. But this placement, he wasn't known for placement, and that's something he's developed with age. Tom, I'll go to you on this one. How important has Rashford been for United this season?
Not as important as last season, but he's still probably the most important attacker because of his. I think it is. You don't know what he's going to do. He's that skillful that you don't know whether he's going to cut inside or take it on and put a cross in. He's hard to read, and that gives United a new dimension in the attack. Whereas Martial is very one-dimensional. You know what he's going to try and do: cut inside, hit it across goal. Greenwood, that he is a bit one-dimensional at the minute. 'Cause he's always going to try and cut inside and get on that left foot and fire back across, which is what you want to do as a striker.
He can do both. He is both-footed.
But he will develop. He's got the sky's the limit for that kid. You can see it in him. He's got all the space to develop. But I want to quickly talk about Brighton and how it's just mistakes. Like you could see that team. You see how good they are for 88 minutes in a football game, and they lose 2-1 because there's just lapses of concentration that they get punished for. Like the first goal, a lapse in concentration, and they get punished for it. It's a bit of luck regarding it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes the mistakes don't get punished, but when you're down there fighting like right now, you got to try and cut out them mistakes because you can't rely on luck. When you're down there, the luck's never with you. So I think if they can cut out, I think they'll stay up. I think they will. It's between them and Newcastle through go down for me. And if they stay up, all they need to do is just work on the. I think the term's consistency, but I don't think it sums them up best. Like mentality, I think is what would be better used. Making sure they're switched on every minute, all the time, in shape all the time, because they have a very good team that when they all play together, look like they could beat anyone on the day when they play together.
Yeah.
They look perfect.
No, I'd agree with that in terms of Brighton. I think it's and the thing is, we always say, oh, this player's not good enough, this player's not good enough, who would take this player? The teams near the bottom, the reason that they're near the bottom is because of consistency. You can have great players that are top class, but they're not consistent. Like a prime example for me is Tom Cleverley. On his day, he was brilliant. He switched it on, fantastic, but he couldn't do that every game. A bit like Fred, actually. You know when sometimes you see Fred have a good game, switch it on, and then the game later he's gone back to like he's a pile of trash. It's definition of inconsistency, and And it's why these clubs are near the bottom. I know it's so cliche and so Michael Owen sort of saying you're near the bottom because you haven't got the better players. It's true, but the players at the bottom also don't have that consistency. So I thought Brighton played well, but it was just a little bit sort of sloppy near the end, and that is something that Brighton have been known for. Daniel's saying Fred was good today. Pogba was poor. My man of the match is Fred.
No.
I'm a little
Fred had a good
I'm a
first
little
half, I
bit
thought.
confused by that. But RJ, Fred, would you have said that he was man of the match?
No, 100% no.
No.
I mean, for me, mine was Greenwood. Greenwood, for me, in the first half was the only player that actually caused a bit of danger for him. He did hit the post in the first half. That caused a tiny bit of difficulty for Brian. But in general, I mean, to say that the team deserved man of the match, I mean, that's an overstatement. I mean, if there was one for like player for half the match, then we'd take that. Because let's be honest, the first half we were absolutely dog shit. No, for me, Fred was all right, better than usual. I mean, if that's what you're saying as a good man of the match, that we are in trouble. I mean, the thing is, if you actually said that he had a better performance than Luke Shaw today or Harry Maguire, get out of here. Honestly, Harry Maguire had a better performance than him today, and did a lot more.
I would, and you could probably, I don't care if people call it favoritism because of how much I rate this one. I'd actually say Greenwood. I thought he was effective. I thought he looked dangerous for large parts of the game. It almost was the Greenwood that we saw last season, and I really do think this playing up front has really done well for his confidence as well. I think if your manager walks up to you and goes, "You're my number 9 at Manchester United," as a young age that he is here, we all forget he's only 19. Like 19 in the world of football is a baby. Like Mason Greenwood is essentially a baby. The same with Diallo, and for Ollie to give Mason that confidence must also give Amad Diallo so much confidence, because he knows that if he starts to impress, if he does well in training, plays games well, he's going to be right in there for a starting position like Mason has been. But
What
Matt,
does that deal have to do?
I think I think the thing for Ahmad, this is just me personally. Obviously, me and Ollie don't go for dinner and discuss this, but I think it's his size. I think he's quite. Do you remember Mason before lockdown? Can you remember pre lockdown Mason Greenwood?
Yeah, but with Ahmad, I think he's so agile. His size doesn't matter.
Yeah, but the thing is that when Mason was pre-lockdown, he didn't start often for Ollie. He may have done the Europa Leagues and all of that. But he was quite a small chap. Then during lockdown, he bulked up and really sort of built into
you can definitely see that he's definitely bulked up for sure. I can definitely see that.
Yeah, that shadow. I think that's just what Amad Diallo needs to do. I think it will just be get a bit of muscle on the lad.
Yeah, and I think that's what he's trying to do with Donny van de Beek. I think, for me, no disrespect to Donny, I think he's an unbelievable lad, but he needs a bit of muscle. I mean, you look at, obviously, compared to the Champions League when he played against Spurs, he did very well, but the thing was, he can't be playing week in, week out in the Premier League. Imagine playing against Brighton, against Lewis Dunk and all those players, like I said, they'd be way stronger than him. But I think, look, this season's where he bulk up. Next season he'll be ready to go, and I think the rumors of Pogba leaving, I think that means that he's definitely going to get some game time next week. Not next season, sorry, Jesus, next week.
Yeah. Next week. Well, Diallo might play against Granada. I'd fully expect to see the likes of
Granada.
I fully expect to see the likes of Greenwood, Diallo, Dan James, Van der Beek. I'd expect to see all of them people, possibly even a Brandon Williams. I mean, it is Granada. I know that Granada shouldn't be disrespected, but you should still have a good enough team to make some big changes. But Kenny, who would you have gone for man of the match today?
I think it's between 2 players, and those 2 players are Fred and Pogba. Nah, I'm joking. It's between Henderson and Greenwood, because I think Henderson made some in the first half. I think he did make some very good saves. For the whole game, he was very commanding. He was very much like a leader, and it more or less kept our defense a bit stable. And I think he calmed our defense a bit more than De Gea. But I would go with Greenwood just because all the movement around like the edge of the box, in the box as well, and the goal he scored was great. He hit the post with one of his shots, and he's been very unlucky recently. And it was just a really, really good performance. In aside, which didn't actually have that many great performances today, but he was definitely a standout player, and I would give him man of the match. But Henderson does deserve a shout for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's look. I mean, we all know that Henderson is head and shoulders above De Gea. I mean, Henderson is about 100 times better than De Gea.
Coming from an Englishman,
I think De Gea has lost his bravery. He doesn't want to get hit.
Never had any.
And that's something you do need from a goalkeeper. You need someone who's willing to chuck themselves in front of the ball and potentially get that boot in the face, which is something that Pussy De Gea does not do. But I'm not going to give RJ a chance to respond to that. I just wanted to say that.
He doesn't know that he's wrong. Like he doesn't know.
No, I don't. Tom, who would you have picked for man of the match today?
I'm actually going to give it to a Brighton player, and I'm going to give it to Adam Lallana. I thought for that first half entirely, and for large parts of the second half before he went off, he was running rings around Pogba and Fred, and he really showed why Fred can't work as all in DM. Because Pogba's not going to sit back and defend. No. And Fred was getting rings around the by Basuma and Lallana. And there was one passage play that summed it up where Lallana got the ball in the halfway line and was just able to dribble past Pogba like he weren't there, and Fred like he weren't there, and get to the United box pretty much unchallenged. And then it's Brighton, so there wasn't a great final ball or whatever. But I thought he did a really good job in that game today, and I think Greenwood's a close second, but I thought Lallana was very good today, and it's shades of what I'm used to seeing of him anyway.
Yeah, I mean, both of them are fair shouts, to be fair. DC saying up the Villa, who needs Grealish? We'll take him at Argyle.
We'll take him.
We'll take him at Argyle if he's going for free. And DC saying harsh on your own De Gea. I'm not a United fan. I'm a Argyle fan, and De Gea is trash. But moving on from De Gea being RJ, I wanted to get your thoughts on another time that United. I was about to say Argyle. Another time United go down. They concede a goal. They go 1-0 down. How many more times can United go through this? Soon you're going to get caught out.
We will, but I mean, look, it's as simple as this. This is pretty much our season, what we've done since start of season, to be fair. I mean, we even did it against Brighton at the start of season where it was a last-minute penalty and we won 3-2. So, I mean, it's simple as... I mean, when it's going to stop, I have no idea. You gotta keep asking Ollie that same question, I do believe.
Do you think it's Ollie or do you think it's a team? Because I don't believe that Ollie.
I think it's a team.
I don't believe that Ollie stood in that dressing room going, "Right, boys, what I want you to do is concede first, and then I want 2 goals in the second half. Masterclass, boys." No, I honestly don't believe there is any way, shape, or form Ollie's telling them to go 1-0 down.
I think it's just where like the lads they don't wake up and then that goal that happens wakes them up and then they just say, "Oh shit, we're losing 1-0. We need to win this game." That's probably my guess. I'm guessing. I have no idea at this rate. I mean, Bruno's the only player really that actually makes a difference at the squad. And I was even asking the question, where would we be without Bruno? I mean, I've asked this many times in the streams and all that crack. I'm like, where would we be without Bruno? Because the fact is, without Bruno, none of those 2 goals happen. None of these great memories that we've had over the last year would happen. So, I think, to be fair, to answer your question, how long will it go? I don't think it'll go as long as Liverpool's undefeated streak, but I mean, it'll probably end shortly. Do you know what I mean? So.
Well, I mean, it ended against Sheffield United. I'm just curious because at the end of the day, United can't keep going 1-0 down, and one day, if let's say that was a Liverpool, you may not get back into that game.
I mean,
but Matt,
bad example, anyway,
but Matt, what's your thoughts? I mean, you can't keep going 1-0 down every single game, can you?
We can't keep doing it, but the season's a write-off now, so I don't think it's going to be fixed. Well, it hasn't happened for a while, to be fair. Actually, now I think about it, this is the first time in a while.
Yeah, but to be fair, it's happened a fair few times this season.
It has happened a few times this season, but it seems to be working. What lightens them up, so I don't mind it happening. But obviously, it doesn't look good in our defense at all. But our defense,
I mean,
Maguire at the back.
On the United show this week, we went through sort of stats and centre backs, and we'll get into one because I do. You've obviously got to see one of them sort of up close and personal today, playing against United. But before we do that, Kenny, what do you make of this? Just going 1-0 down, sort of. That's what you need to get into the game. I mean, what do you make of that?
I think it's definitely the players, because if you've seen this season, a lot of the times it has been going 1-0 down that's just woken us up and got us to that extra level. Like, for example, today is the prime example. We were 1-0 down at half time, and in the second half, we didn't let Brighton have any shots. So we were all over them in the second half, really. And that's just a really good showing. But also, about the when it's going to stop, it has stopped a few times this season. Sheffield United is one of them, going 1-0 down. Where we have dropped points a few times after going 1-0 down this season. And it does work most of the time. Most of the time we win. But sometimes there's just that little blip which you can't have in the side that's second in the league, and that earlier on in the season was in a title race. That's why we've dropped out of the title race, because we've gone 1-0 down and we've dropped points because of that against like Sheffield United, West Brom. But yeah, I think we do need, it's the players' mentality that might be the issue. I don't think it's Ole at all.
Yeah, I mean, you make some valid points. You did drop points to Sheffield United and West Brom. That is alone embarrassing. And you should all be ashamed of yourselves as long as you're United fans, because to lose to Sheffield United is bad enough, but then to drop points to Big Sam, I know obviously he didn't lose 5-2, but it's still not great. But Tom, as a sort of neutral / rivals perspective, this United, they keep going down 1 goal and then trying to have to fight back. This is nowhere near a sustainable sort of way of going about things. Do you blame Ollie, or are you saying, no, this is the players, they're not
Ollie doesn't tell the players to go 1-0 down. Ollie, I think, fucks up his tactics in the first half. Ollie's a very good reactive manager. He's very good at changing it up to fix problems. That's why they come back so much. But it's not a sustainable method, because when you play the big teams, you have to be able to change it up like that and expect instantaneous results. So I think he needs to slowly start learning to dominate games from the get-go. Because if he can do that, United look like a solid team if they can do that. Because if you score first, they're going to come back. If they score first, they're winning the game. If they can get to that stage, sky's the limit for them. But this reactive method of coaching of Solskjaer is not going to work game in, game out. It will cost them when it matters most. Cost them against Leipzig. That's the prime example this season. Brought on Pogba and spotted the issue, changed it. They were quality for the last 20 minutes. Really good. Scored 2 goals without reply. Could have went through, but you were 3-0 down.
Yeah.
If you prevent that 3-0 down, you love in life. But it's just about preventing. Just about making sure you don't have to react. That's what Solskjaer needs to sort out.
Yeah, no, I actually hear a lot of what you're saying. I think a lot of it also is down to the players. They're not awake. Sort of, maybe they're too confident. Maybe it's because if you think about, I know it's happened to a lot of teams, but think about the ones that come fresh your head: Sheffield United, West Brom, Brighton. There is a thing here. They're near the bottom of the league. Do you think that this could be United just going, oh, it's only Brighton, we don't need to be fully on it from the minute get-go? Or do you think it's just them naturally just being slow to sort of start?
I mean, we've kind of done this every game, to be fair. I mean, West Brom was another example. We kind of let them get a first goal and then we try to get back into it. I don't know if it's like a write-off where we just say, yeah, this is a small team, we're not going to face. By right, we should be fearing more of the teams down below who are trying to fight relegation, because they've probably the most to fight for out of everything, So I think, say, underestimating a team like Brighton, especially, who have great defenders. I mean, the only thing they've been lacking this season is attackers, because, I mean, most of them have been injured this season. They had to rely on Maupay all season. I mean, that's not a player to rely on. I mean, I'd probably do a better job than Maupay.
I mean, to be fair, Maupay is better than the entire of the Republic of Ireland football team put together.
Nah, not a hope in hell. I mean, one of our players actually scored a banger against Chelsea, so I'll take it. Yeah, the only problem is he can't score against Luxembourg.
I was just about to say he didn't get the goal against Luxembourg, did he? Or Qatar?
Shut up.
What happened against Qatar, RJ?
We did a what did we do? We kind of fell asleep, kind of like Liverpool at the second half of the season. But just checking it out. No, to be fair, no, it was a friendly, and to be fair, I don't know what's up with this manager. There's a lot. What I would say, I'm not going to make this a whole Irish stream because let's be honest, we don't want to hear about it. But there's a lot of problems in the FAI and all that cracks that we have to sort out. So once we get that sorted out, we'll move forward. But right now, it's not looking good. But yeah, just going back to United, like, I mean, the weird thing is, right, we've had such struggles like as Sheffield United, but we can beat Man City comfortably, which doesn't make sense, does it? I mean, let's be honest, lads. I mean, Man City.
It does.
I mean, how does
it sort of does, because Man City play right into your hands. They play a high line, they dominate possession, they keep the ball, and then United just live off a counter attack against City. I mean, you actually, it makes a lot of sense why you can beat City and you struggle against better teams.
Oh yeah, but talent-wise.
But to be fair, in the first half, obviously a lot of United fans have been calling not to be playing double pivots against the likes of Brighton and Burnley and all of that. Today we saw obviously Pogba with Fred. I still didn't think that was good enough. For me, I would have probably paid McTominay over Fred, mostly because I actually don't rate Fred, even though the stats deceive me. I do think McTominay is a little bit better. But does this just highlight exactly the Declan Rice Manchester United need to bring into their club?
I mean, look, there's loads of players we can bring in that would make an impact. I even think, what's his name? The player from Brighton. Basuma, thank you. Yeah, I think he'd be a perfect place for us as well.
Yeah, but he's not the quality.
He'd be a lot cheaper, but he'd be a lot cheaper. That's the thing. And
Fred was cheaper, and do you want to know why they're cheaper? Because they're inconsistent.
Fred was 60 million. That's not cheap.
But he was also cheap and a rip-off because you shouldn't have paid that much. He was a £30 million.
You can't be cheap and a rip-off, mate. Like,
you can't be a rip-off.
You bought a cheap player, but for X-rated prices.
I mean, if 60 million is cheap for you now, Jesus.
Mate, we got a 40 million bargain. You can be expensive and cheap, and you can be expensive or you can be cheap and shit.
The thing is, it's called a flop. I'm sure, obviously, we're all aware of the term flop in football. Fred is that. Yeah. He's not worth it. A bit like Pepe. He's not £72 million, right? That's a cast iron fact. The thing is, Declan Rice has done it more consistently than Basuma. He plays a lot. He's bigger. He intercepts better than Basuma. the thing is with Declan Rice, what he offers you is so much more, and the reason he's more expensive is because he's good.
He can
Now,
drop in the centre back as well.
he can also do that, and my thought process is United shouldn't be going for cheaper targets. Like, that should not be what Manchester United is like. Like, Manchester United should be going, we want Declan Rice because Declan Rice is what we need. We'll just pay for it and get it done. That should be how United go into their transfers. We want Declan Rice. We want Sancho. We want Ben White or Dillit or whoever fits in the English-speaking terminology that Harry Maguire wants. That's how United should be occupying their transfers. Not going, well, yeah, but he's a bit cheaper. We can save a few quid here. Like, do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, to a certain degree, but at the same time, if and I'm saying if West Ham do beat Wolves on Monday night, they go a point clear of Chelsea, and it's theirs to lose to top four. To be fair, if they do lose top four, then obviously the price will go down. But if they get top four, there's not a hope in hell we're getting Declan Rice, unless we want to pay 100 million for him. That's how I see it.
Well, no, RJ, you failing to listen to what I said in the United show, where Lingard is going to be crucial to this deal. Lingard is liked by David Moyes. If Lingard can
so is Rice, so is Declan Rice. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but if Lingard, look, there's West Ham. No, they're not keeping Declan Rice. It's a cast iron fact.
West Ham also have a relatively tough run into the season. Like, yeah, West Ham play Chelsea. That will decide who gets top four.
That'll be huge.
If it's a draw, then we know who.
Mason probably do it. That is one game. The friendship really isn't going to be a sort of good and interesting. But Matt, what's your thoughts? Is this game just cried out to you how much you do need that proper DM that can sort of sit in there and do the job?
Yeah, it's been clear all season, though, to be fair. So it's not just this game; it has been clear all season.
Well, yeah, I just want to make it this game relevant.
Yeah, well, we do need a CDM. Yeah, it doesn't need to be Rice, but I would like it to be Rice. But I think we could get one. We probably could get one cheaper, but we are Man United, so shouldn't be acting like that.
I would say Declan Rice, Ben White, and Sancho should be your three transfers. I suppose the good thing is for obviously the transfer director Harry Maguire, they're all English speaking, so there should be no problems with his sort of
Brexit transfer window.
It would be so.
It screams Brexit, legit.
Well, do you know what? Harry Maguire, I'm absolutely certain he's a Tory. He has to be. Doesn't want foreigners in the club. Doesn't want to be partnered next to a foreigner. Yeah. Do you know what? Yeah, absolutely. But do you reckon that's why Rashi told him to fuck off or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Harry Maguire is a Tory. We can see it from a mile away. But Kenny, what DM would you go for in the summer for United?
Definitely Declan Rice. I've seen him for West Ham this season. He is such a great player, and he's young as well. He's not getting any worse as of right now. And if you watch West Ham this season, you can see him and Souček have been an amazing partnership this season. They've probably been the most vital part of West Ham's success this season. That midfield pair, and Declan Rice. He is amazing. He's vocal. He's great at tackling. He's great at intercepting. He's great at being a defensive midfielder, really. Doing a defensive midfielder's job. And that is something that we need this season, because the only defensive midfielder who is, you can't argue, he is a definitely defensive midfielder, is Nemanja Matic, who is quite crap, to be honest with you.
To be fair, if you had Matic 5 years ago, he would be one of the best in the league. He was such an awesome sort of DM. Oh, RJ's walked out the building. I presume he was upset about Declan Rice. We're sad to see RJ go. Oh, he's okay then. Nice. But yeah, Tom. Before we obviously go into a technical or tactical breakdown, shall I say? Which DM would you get for United? Let's say you were the United board. Which DM do you go to improve that team?
Sell Pogba, sell Fernandes, and buy fucking whoever. So you just shit, so we can have no competition.
And now the serious one.
Definitely nice.
it's just as simple as that. And I can't remember who made the point, but to have that one person that can sort of drop into centre back if needed is sort of crucial. And the other things that make Declan Rice so important is he is a leader on the pitch. He's vocal. So all of them things are absolutely required and needed in this United side. They're not vocal. That is the one thing you can say about United. They're not vocal at all. But yeah, what we'll do is we'll do the sort of tactical breakdown. Tom will obviously lead that. Obviously, Kenny and Matt will jump in as and when needed, as will I as well. This is a little bit of a tester or a teaser, sort of for everyone watching. There, we are looking to add a new show. We're looking to add a new show, obviously. I think we're going to start next week. This is sort of a thing that we're going to be doing. So I'll let Tom crack on with it.
Well, we're going to start off with the two lineups and where the issues were. We've already discussed this duo here in the middle of the park, Pogba and Fred. Neither of them have the discipline to stay back. And I thought this man today was lost in between these three centre-backs. I thought Brighton lined up perfectly for how to deal with United. I think United struggle when there's an overload. So in attacks, Gross would go up, Murder would go up, Welbeck and Mope would float round, and Trossard would often make late runs into the box. And because of the lack of discipline, there'd be a mismatch. There'd be one player too many for the back four to deal with.
Yeah.
And then this is for the first goal. This is the Paul Pogba pass. And if we look at his passing options, he could go to this man, who I think he was aiming for, but it was misplaced. This man, that man. Well, he could even go there because he's flat-footed. 5 different passing options, and instead he passes it to there. I think it sums up his poor game. It's a game below standards by Pogba. He's normally someone you can rely on to spray passes out and pick out teammates and be useful as a deep line playmaker of sorts. And today, he really wasn't that in this deeper role with a lot more defensive responsibility. But this is the one that I really want to discuss in regards to the mismatch. And Gross here is attracting the attention of Maguire. He's telling someone to drop in. I think it's Fred. But this man here completely unmarked the back stick. Danny Welbeck, the eventual goal scorer.
That's Wan-Bissaka in front of him.
Yeah, but Wan-Bissaka switches off and Danny Welbeck goes in there.
Yeah.
Danny Welbeck is off. He used the blind side run, which Wan-Bissaka has often been caught on this season. And it ends up going into that space. And an issue with Aaron Wan-Bissaka, in a sense, is he likes to tuck in a bit too much. I'd really want my fullback to be here and then have my other DM, who's picking up no one at the minute, take up a spot right on the penalty spot here. Therefore, if a cross goes over the centre-back's head, you've got a DM to pick it up, and the right-back can then deal with this man here. And if it had come out to him, he would have had a clear shot on goal. Because Wan-Bissaka wouldn't have been able to get out quick enough.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with that.
United's first was off a mistake. And this is something I will reference later on. This is a much improved attack sort of style to the attacking style in the first half. United thrive off quick attacks.
Mm-hmm.
This was one of them. You've got a 4-on-3. Fernandes, he's got the ability to play it through that gap. You've got an overload there. The left back, I think it's Veltman, caught out of position. So you've got a dangerous man in Greenwood and a dangerous man in Cavani, completely free. What needed to happen, really, was this man here. He's drop into there.
Yeah.
And effectively make the best out of a bad situation and let Bruno have a long shot. Because the odds of a long shot going in are much lower than the odds of the chance that Marcus Rashford did end up getting, which is a 1-on-1 inside 12, 13 yards.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the defensive shape of Brighton. That is their defensive line. And if we really want to get into it, the left back's over there and the right back's up there. Their full backs were too slow getting back. In fact, no, I'm wrong. That was the DM over there. So their right back's there. Deal with that. The right back is there. So it's a really poor setup by this Brighton team who struggle from quick counters. You know, there's a lack of structure in that defensive setup at the minute. And it has cost them multiple times this season. You know, I mean, Ben White, he can't do much there because it's Marcus Rashford. You're dealing with one of the best wings in the league, one of the deadliest finishers. And at the end of the day, it was another great finish. But Lewis Dunk really should be in the middle, and I don't know what Joe Vanton's doing. Especially sliding like that. He's lucky that Rashford finished it, otherwise it would have been a Stonewall red.
Yeah. It was a horrific tackle, and a lot of the United players were. It's why Cavani obviously got booked about that. Obviously, we'll discuss that in ref's view this Thursday. But that tackle was bad, and to be fair, not even a yellow produced. So you can count yourself lucky that you didn't get anything there.
And then this is the third goal.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what Bruno thrives in. He's not been. Basuma's looking over it, it's too late. Fernandes has already gone into that space. And the defensive line, Brighton again, is just so exposed. You've got a massive gap there, which you should never be left open. You've got Alexis McAllister, who replaced Trossard, who really should be the one pressing Shaw. And I think it was Pascal Gross, the right back, should be dropping into Van der Beek.
Yeah.
But again, it's just a lack of quality that Brighton have on a defensive end. You know, they're very consistent for 80 minutes, but it's mistakes like these that cost you in the Premier League. You can't afford to have mistakes like these in your locker. And this is Ben White here should really not drop onto the line. He should be in this space here.
Yeah.
Because if he's in that space there, you play Van der Beek offside in the first place, and then you're directly on Mason Greenwood, and with Basuma there, you've got a 2-on-1 on, which gives you an infinitely harder chance. But you've got to give all the credit in the world to Mason Greenwood here, because that's what the good strikers do: right position, right time. I mean, a good striker will make that run 10 times in a game, and 9 times out of 10 they'll look stupid because the pass hasn't went to them, or it's been set before it's got there. But the one time it gets them, it's a goal every time. You know, that's what separates the good from the great. But this is not regarding all. This was Manchester United in the first half, and this was how they set up, building up from the back. Paul Pogba is nowhere to be seen. If you're playing with 2 DMs, you need them in relatively close proximity. Paul Pogba's up there somewhere. We've got Mason Greenwood, I think.
Do you think that Ollie was playing with a double pivot, or do you think he was playing 1 DM with a box-to-box? Because I think Pogba was box-to-box midfielder, if I'm being fair.
I think on a defensive end, it was a double pivot. But I think on an attacking end, you can't have a double pivot on a defensive end and not have one on an attacking end. Otherwise, you're going to get destroyed on the counter because you'll have an imbalance in the midfield. So I think Pogba was given the freedom to make forward runs, but he has to also have a bit of positional sense.
Yeah.
Because he's not in the middle here, the pass had to go out wide, and Mason Greenwood is further back than Luke Shaw. And attacks would die that way because there's no one making them darting runs down the wing to split them open like there was here.
Mm.
You're utilising the wings well here. And then that creates space. Here, there's no space being created because you're all too deep. Brighton at 1-0 will love that because they're going to head away everything you put in the box. They're going to clear most things, you know. You have to try something to break them down. But the slow, methodical style of play doesn't work against teams with sit back, which is why the 2 goals came from quick passes, such as the Shaw one, such as the Fernandes one. That was an issue with the build-up play, but I think that's how United like to build up most of the time. I don't think it works for them, but it's how they like to build up, and I don't think that changes anytime soon. On an attacking end, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is bloody useless. This is all he seems to do. You get the ball in this position here and cut back inside. Pogba is now negated because he's now behind the man. Wan-Bissaka will then pass it off to there, and then all of a sudden you've got 3 men on you.
Yeah.
You're going to play a bad pass. All because Wan-Bissaka, instead of driving down the wing there, decides he wants to cut back in.
Why do you think that is?
I think he's not confident. I think it's a lack of confidence in his attacking game.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in them situations there, you have to be very good in sort of isolation style of attacking. You'll be going one-on-one with a lot of defenders, and you have to be able to beat them, whether it's through your crossing, whether it's through your dribbling. Trent relies on his crossing. Reece James relies on his power most of the time to power through defenders. Tariq Lamptey was someone who was very good at dribbling this season. You know, Ricardo Pereira is another one good at his dribbling. Wan-Bissaka is a very clunky player, but he doesn't have the power that goes with being clunky.
His attacking ability has improved massively since last season.
It has.
Last season he clearly lose going forward. But
it has, but it's still not at the level. Yeah. I think anyway. I'm obviously a bit different being a Liverpool fan. I'm used to seeing a free-flowing attacking right back, but it hasn't improved to the level where you can rely on his wing to create stuff.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. But considering from where it was last season, there is a steady improvement, and I do think that will improve because he is still young. So I do think.
I think when the way I've described Wan-Bissaka previously is he's one of the best at defending. Like on one-on-one, if he needs to put in a tackle, he's one of the best in the league. But he can't do the attack, and obviously, as the modern day right back, you need to do both. And I think that with time he'll get better. But no, I definitely concur with Tom that it's definitely something he needs to improve because United is so unstable and sort of unsteady. Everything comes down that left-hand side, and if the left-hand side is having a bad day, then don't expect much to come from the right because right haven't got the Luke Shaw and the Rashi. It's got Greenwood, who is a top player, but Greenwood can't do it all himself. He needs that sort of help from a right back. And when Mason has to play on the wing, it probably does hinder his performance having to play over Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah, I think if Mason Greenwood and Wan-Bissaka are together, you're too narrow on an attacking sort of front because both of them like to cut in.
Yeah.
You really need one to cut in and one to overlap. Luke Shaw's brilliant at that. Luke Shaw knows when to cut in and drive, and he knows when to overlap. Wan-Bissaka will eventually learn that, hopefully, because I want him to succeed as an English right back. I think he's brilliant. But right now, he's often a hindrance to United's attacks. Do
you think that if they could get someone on the wing that that didn't want to cut in, that would sort of help? Do you think that if they could get someone who doesn't want to cut in, a proper winger, not an inside forward, a proper winger? I can't give you any names, but someone that wants to put in a cross, probably a Sancho, he'd be disciplined to do the wingers wrong.
I think nowadays
Wan-Bissaka's attacking ability myself, like, but I don't think so. But it would be more beneficial to have a winger that crosses the ball in as well.
I think nowadays your wingers need to be. I think your wingers need to cut in. You need to utilise the half spaces between a centre back and a full back that are normally there. So you need your right back to be confident on the overlap, because effectively you need your right back wide. You need your right back wide as well for the counter attack.
Yeah.
So if Wan-Bissaka's in here, let's just say Wan-Bissaka ends up here, and then it's into Greenwood. Greenwood misplaces it. Basuma picks it up. Basuma then has that much space completely free because the right back's tucked in. If you're setting up a low block, I can see why you want your right back tucked in, because you'll have your wingers coming back. But Man United's wingers don't want to come back as much as they want to attack.
Yeah.
So in that situation, your right back needs to stay just a little bit wider to stop the direct wing play, because although it's slowly being phased out the game, it's still dangerous. And in the second half, the build-up play was much different. Pogba was given a different role on a defensive and an attacking end. He was sort of playing as a right attacking mid at times, for the majority of it really. And as such, Fred would drop in to be a third centre-back here. That's a style of attacking I often see with Man City or Liverpool, where we'll have Fabinho or you'll see Fernandinho drop in. And then it allows Harry Maguire's best abilities, which aren't great, but still there. His passing range, his dribbling to come out. And Bruno would drop deep, man who's full of confidence. And then he has this space to drive into. And Pogba is very good in this role here. Pogba is very good at finding them half spaces and utilising his close control and dribbling to become a passing option for Bruno and allow quick 1-2s and stuff. I think Fred also being here gives Luke Shaw more freedom to go and do what he wants down this left-hand side. He doesn't have to be sort of restricted. He can bomb on and know that he's got cover from Fred. The only issue with this is if Maguire does that straight to him, you then got Bruno on the defensive end, who you don't really want as your defensive midfielder in the situation. And then a back three of Lindelof, Maguire, Fred, which will all inadvertently tuck in narrow because they're all central players. So then you run the risk of... It wouldn't have happened in this game because they were playing wing backs and not wingers. But if you had wingers, let's say instead of this 2 here, it was a 3 there, there, and there, you then have a 3-on-3 where wingers who are used to using width will exploit that, and it might cost United crucial goals. Which is why I'm confused as to why Wan-Bissaka bombs on so much. And if I was Manchester United manager, I'd let Fred. Well, I wouldn't play Fred, but I'd have the DM here. I'd have Wan-Bissaka there, and I'd give Pogba the freedom of the right-hand side to create what he wants and act in a sense as that fullback.
Yeah.
Because he has the creative capacity to do that. And then obviously they're changing the attacking, quick play, utilising the half spaces. But Mason Greenwood here takes 2 defenders, which is what the best strikers do. Shows a fear. They don't want to leave him with one man because he can take him on. And I think Donny van der Beek came onto the left wing, didn't he?
Yeah.
Because Daniel James ended up on the right.
Yeah, it looked to me that Dan James went to the right, Donny went to the left, up top.
I mean, I still think Van der Beek doesn't know his best position at United yet. He's still trying to find it.
I
And he's not going to find it with
don't
this
think
limited playing time.
I don't think Ollie knows personally, unless it is that. I think the issue is, I think he wants him deep in central midfield, but the issue is you've got Fred and McTominay, and neither of them can do a DM. I think if you get a DM, you see Donny a bit more, because Donny can do that work a bit deeper to link with Bruno, a bit like Pogba does, just not maybe Pogba style. But
one thing Van der Beek does well, I do need to say this real quickly, is he shows for the ball all the time. That's why Ben White comes out to him, because he's shown for the ball. He's an option. You can't leave an option. I know he hasn't played much, but he's skilled in Van der Beek. You can't leave an option as skilled as Van der Beek unmarked, because he can create stuff.
Yeah.
And Bruno, he's got a great IQ. He spots that space and thrives in it. But it just shows how feared Mason Greenwood is to take two defenders, because he doesn't want, I think that's Veltman there. He doesn't want to leave him. You can see that back foot, that's a lethargic one. That's one being, I've got to watch out for my man behind me. Basuma spotted Bruno, but it's too late, he's gone. That's where United thrive in them half spaces. But this was another issue I picked up on. The defending free kicks for Manchester United. This was the chance for Lewis Dunk to hit the bar in the first half. Here is Lewis Dunk. Yeah. The men on him are Paul Pogba and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Paul Pogba's backtracking, he's never going to win that header. Aaron Wan-Bissaka's a bit small. That's a clear mismatch. Emerson Cavani there had also lost his man. If we compare that to the second half, a free kick from just over there, there's Lewis Dunk, Maguire, Lindelof. That one was headed away straight away, no worries. They were both on Lewis Dunk's head. This one, he managed to get to be pretty much unchallenged. And this is the thing with United's defensive setup on set pieces. United seems to run like a mix of man mark and zonal. Yeah, and that you have to run one or the other for me, because otherwise you're going to have issues arise where someone will think they're in the zone but they're supposed to man mark, or someone who's man marking will run to the zone, and it causes a mix up. Whereas I think United just need to mark the big man who's going to go to every time.
I do think you can do both, but you need a lot of discipline. You need to be well structured. You need to know what you're doing. And most importantly, you need vocal. You need someone who's going to scream at you, telling you what to do. United don't have that defensively. It's the one thing United have been very poor at. They're not a vocal bunch. I think Ollie is doing the right thing. A lot more teams are doing this sort of mix and match of it, a bit of zone with a bit of man to man. But for me, I think just United vocally, they're just not at the level that they need to be.
Yeah, I think that stems from the leadership. I mean, I think Maguire was a hell of a lot more vocal here. That's why he's picked him up. But one thing I did notice was this. Andy Zakiri completely unmarked. If that goes just over Maguire's head, it's a situation similar to Everton. And that's because Aaron Wan-Bissaka just switched off.
Again.
And Aaron Wan-Bissaka seems to struggle with aerial balls. He doesn't know what to do with them positionally wise. And that's something he's got to improve on. Because the teams are exploiting it. I mean, you could reel off a number of times he's been exploited by a ball over the top of his head and he doesn't know what to do. And he's a great defensive right back, but that could so easily have went wrong there. And you know what? I can guarantee that a lot of the blame would have went on Maguire for not winning the header. But he's challenging a big man there. Wan-Bissaka has to pick up his man.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you're leaving someone who can't finish. He's bloody Switzerland under 21 top scorer. He knows how to find the back of the net.
Yeah, I'd agree.
And this one, this is why. I mean, look at the space there. Imagine if that gets flicked on.
What? Oh God, Matt, you're seeing all this, mate. What's your opinions at United defending set plays?
That plays. Well, Wan-Bissaka is a bit of a. I get the game against. If you remember the game against Leipzig, he left Angelino.
Yeah.
But he helped. He tried to help Lindelof man mark some. Got 2 people and 1 defender, and he left Angelino completely free, and that cost us qualification to the next round. So he can be a bit of a bad, well, not bad defender, obviously, but he can make some stupid mistakes sometimes. But I do think it's not just his fault. The whole defensive line's bad at.
Yeah, of course. I mean, are you happy seeing this sort of mix of man-to-man and zonal, or are you sort of a bit what Tom is saying, which is stick with one and go for it?
I agree with Tom there. I think we should just stick with one and go for it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Kenny, anything to add on defending set pieces? Stunned silence. You can carry on, Tom.
I mean, it's something that's easy to improve on, isn't it? You know, set pieces create a hell of a lot of goals, but you can easily prevent them. And I think United will improve on them, but it's situations like this here. Liverpool put Mo Salah there. That's something we do. It like against Leeds. If that's Mo Salah there and not Ben White, and it falls to him, it's probably a goal.
Yeah. No, it is. It is.
Fred is picking no one there. Why doesn't he drop into that space just there? Deals with the man.
Fred doesn't have the football IQ to start thinking on his own.
You're asking Fred is picking up. That's Rashford's man. No, that's Rashford. That's Bruno's man. Maguire's man. Pogba's man. McTominay's man. Fred has got no one, and as I said, he wants to mark Mike Dean out the game instead.
Yeah. Kenny is back. Kenny, what I wanted to ask you was, what do you make of United defending set pieces? I mean, we're just going through the sort of breakdown now, and it just looks like unorganized chaos at the back.
I think most of the time it depends if it goes past the first man. And normally, if it goes past the first man, it goes in the net. And normally, when it goes past the first man, it's always in the last minute of games. I think we have a lot of problems with like last minute set pieces, like AC Milan, Everton, because of course the energy levels would drop compared to like earlier in the game, and we'd lose a bit of concentration. Maybe the first man would maybe lose the ball or go over the first man's head, and then it goes to, of course, one of the players in the box. But there is a massive problem when it goes past the first man.
Being as blunt as possible there. If it gets past the first man, we're fucked. Is to summarise that from Kenny, which, to be fair, you can't really argue with that.
It's little mistakes by United, but eventually they'll come back to bite them, and then it will be a post-mortem to how it's happened.
They've bitten United many times. You think of Everton, how many times have United conceded from set pieces? It's looking peak. It's not great stats for them defensively, and I do think that. Sorry, say what were you saying, Matt?
Against Southampton, we were really bad with the set pieces. Will Price.
So you were
the corner as well.
To be the worst, it was the worst defense for set pieces coming up against one of the most prolific set piece takers in the Premier League. That was always going to end badly for one of them.
I also want to highlight this matchup real quick. Ben White, he's done a similar movement here. Luke Shaw's a bit tighter, but he's not switched on. He's not being told. He's too busy looking at Andy Zakiri because Wan-Bissaka lost him. Let's say Lewis don't flick that on and Zakiri misses it. Ben White's got an open post tapping. You we're dealing with ifs and buts here, but the ifs and buts could be going reality and really cosh night. I mean, this is a 91st minute chance. If that goes in, it's 2-2, and it probably ends 2-2.
Mm-hmm.
And United rue 2 drop points due to a set piece. They have one of the best defensive headers of the ball in Maguire. And they concede the most set pieces. It doesn't make much sense from a defensive set piece point of view.
I think they lack of leadership. It's quite clear to anyone looking from the outside that defense just lacks a leader. It lacks someone to sort of scream in your face, going, "Boys, get your fucking man! Don't, Aaron, stop man marking Victor Lindelof. We know he's shit, but he's not that shit."
That is another issue that I want to bring up at some point, but they didn't do it today. Wan-Bissaka seems to tuck in way too much when the ball's on the opposite flank.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to draw it down here. So the ball's over there.
That's what I was saying about the tick earlier.
And then you've got Shaw there, Maguire there, Lindelof there, and then Aaron Wan-Bissaka's like here.
Mm.
And then the opposition winger is just like there. And the goal's like there.
Yeah, it's so many times do you see Aaron man marking Victor Lindelof out of the game. It's like, Aaron, wrong one, mate. That he's on your team, mate. I wonder if Ollie looks at that and goes, "Oh my god!" Like, Ollie's got to be seeing this, and this isn't something that's quite new. We've seen it all season. Ollie must be looking at that, going, because I fail to believe he's not talking to him about it. I fail to believe they're not working on it in training. He must be there, like, how many times do I have to say the same thing for these people to realize what they're doing? Like, it can get very frustrating very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it will come back to bite United eventually, and maybe then he'll change it up. But if you can spot the errors before they bite you, it's potentially 3 points saved.
Yeah, and that is the key of it, really. Any other ones to go through?
No, that was all I managed to get for this one, but obviously when we do the show, I'll have a little bit more time to properly analyse them and pick out situations.
Yeah.
And the show will be, I think, was it Friday? Friday, 4 o'clock?
Wasn't it Wednesday, Fridays?
Wednesdays and Fridays. Wednesdays was the league games and Fridays was the European games.
Yeah, because I'm thinking 6 p.m. Wednesday is probably... It's far enough away from any of the kickoffs. If it's about an hour show that finishes at 7, everyone's ready to watch the 7:45 kickoffs. Mm-hmm. But we'll discuss the timings independently. I'm sure the people watching don't want to hear when we're going to discuss the timings of it. But no, as you heard Tom saying, there is a new show. It's called Let's Talk Tactics. Now, it's actually something that Jeannie came up with. We all know Jeannie. As we saw, Tom did a breakdown of Arsenal's defending. The defending was horrific. Jeannie,
I think by saying defending, we're giving them a bit too much credit. Attempted defending is the best thing.
Yeah, something like that. But Jeannie was like, it's a great idea, and the one thing this channel was for the people who don't know, obviously, this channel isn't mine. It's for all of us as a sort of the core group that were on the Football Addiction, and obviously the new boys like Matt, because I can't remember if Matt was on the Football Addiction. No, you weren't. You won. Was you?
Yeah, I was. I was awful. Yeah.
You were awful on it.
Yeah.
I was nearly on it, but during the start, I bottled it.
Oh, fair. But yeah, basically it's a new show called Let's Talk Tactics. It will be done with me, Jeannie, and Tom. Basically just going through the tactical breakdowns of the games. I'm not sure completely how it's working, but we will definitely have that. I'm not sure when it's starting. It might be this week, it might be next. We're definitely going to be working on that as soon as possible. But lots of new shows coming your way. Obviously, we've got Ref's View on Thursdays at 7 p.m. with me and Dom. You've also got now Let's Talk Tactics with lots of new interesting shows coming your way. The summer's going to be really, really good as well. But yeah, Kenny, what did you want to say, mate?
There's one last thing about Eric Bailly. He actually has the coronavirus. So I wish him a speedy recovery. But what is worrying is that Amad Diallo, who was on the bench today, was in the same camp, and he could have spread it to this first team squad if he has it.
Not necessarily, because
we had something like that yesterday with Kabak, because Soyuncu had COVID and Kabak was with the Turkey squad, but Kabak doesn't have to isolate, because I think it was like they did it in such a way where it's individually only.
Yeah, I think that all of them are tested. There's no. The Premier League are fully on COVID and all of that. It doesn't really matter anymore. Obviously, they're all individually tested many times a week now, even as far down as League 2. So obviously we do wish Eric all the best and a speedy recovery. Let's just hope he
a negative test result.
Yeah, I'm sure if Ahmad was to have it, he would have probably tested for it by now. But yeah, obviously, as I say, the new shows are going to be great. I'm looking forward to them. Let's Talk Tactics, obviously, Ref's View. Might even be doing a bit of Formula One. We might even start chucking a bit of the Formula One in. Why not? Some will say I took that from another channel. They didn't create Formula One. But on that note, make sure you go check us out at Let's Talk EPL. Go check us out on Instagram at Let's Talk EPL _. Join our Discord server. There's going to be benefits to joining our Discord server soon. Soon we're doing interactive call-in shows. So every Sunday, normally obviously every Sunday, but obviously United had the late kickoff today. Normally every Sunday we're going to be switching it between the monthly banter show and the weekly call-in show. Basically, it'll be me with a couple of regulars on, having a chat about the major talking points of the weekend, and then you coming on to have your say as well. What you make of the weekend's fixtures and results. So make sure you do join our Discord server. There is going to be that benefit, as I say. And it's getting bigger and better every single week. So do make sure you go check out that. But Matt, where can they find you, mate?
Just MSC6921 on Twitter.
Buzzing. And Tom, where can they find you, mate?
The trophy parade when we win the UCL.
We have one anyway. Don't need to win the UCL for
Yeah,
I won't be attending that one, mate.
I think Jeannie's attending it. Kenny, I don't think they can find you anywhere now, can they? Apart from
on me at my channel, which is Kenny and then a question mark because I couldn't think of the second name. But yeah, just wait. Viewers, like and subscribe and put notifications on so you can tune in for more bangers in the future.
Why don't you call it Kenny TV or something?
It's never really came to my mind, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd call it that, bro. That place sort of comes off the tongue a bit better. You can find me at Nal_PAFC. That's my personal Twitter. As I say, go check out the YouTube's Twitter. That's where all the new videos, that will be where the new thumbnail goes. And trust me, for Let's Talk Tactics, you will want to see the thumbnail. It is absolute. It's a piece of art. Genie is very impressed with himself. But we've come to the end of the show. A big up to absolutely everyone who has been watching. Make sure you have liked the video and you're subscribed to the channel. We lost a couple of subscribers today, which is a shame. So we need to desperately try and improve that again. We need to get some more people in. A few more people subscribe would be absolutely buzzing. We'll be back tomorrow, 8:30 of the weekly review show. big results. Obviously, Chelsea's thumping to West Brom. Then you've got Arsenal's humiliation at the hands of Diego Jota. And then you've also got United etching clear of Leicester and Chelsea. Is top four done for United now? Is second place secured? We'll be discussing all of that tomorrow at 8:30. So make sure you are joined with us. But big thanks.
Results, by the way.
Sorry, say again.
I called all 3 results, by the way.
We love to see it. But yeah, as I